to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
Good afternoon to the good people. Good afternoon to the bad people, friends and enemies. And a good afternoon, boom, shakalaka to you all. I am Chris Base. BaseLine, and it's in full effect. We do this every Friday afternoon. That's at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Wanting you to be well where you are always. Let's see as we get this together here. There you go. One man, one mic, one world. That's who I am. And for you to get connected to free your cranium. Now, how do you free your cranium? Let me explain. So, of course, you could try various ways. You can comment in the comment section, as I firstly call the peanut gallery, if you like. Or you can branch out and call in at 312-597-2106. Again, 312-597-2106. Also catch me on Instagram, I am the base. But more importantly, of course, the channel that is making somewhat waves, I don't know a lot of waves, but we're trying, the Chris Base channel on YouTube. So type in Chris Base. That's all one word, so, the, of course, CHRIS, B is in broadcasting, ASE channel, CHANNEL with a period at the end of the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share on that. Also catch me, of course, on Facebook Live. And sometimes if you're bold to ask for the link, put the show link in there, and then we'll make it do what it do. So again, there's no excuse. You got various ways to free your cranium. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. So one sick digger, how you doing, Sick? Thanks for being here, and shout out to Sick for coming through Wednesday, which has been a great conversation. I had him come on through as well, so it was nice for him to take time out of his schedule to be a part of the excursion. Shout out to my man Wise All. Of course, this program is being simulcasted on his internet station, Real Wise Radio. And the man himself, the founder, creator of that station, came on with me. I didn't want to say it, this past Wednesday. And so I didn't do CBI because I didn't have a guest schedule. So usually what I do, I throw in the not the precursor, that's not cool. That's urination. The precursor is what I call it. So the precursor pretty much is the show that's going to be going into BaseLine. So it's the precursor to BaseLine. I call it the precursor. So I did it on Wednesday, and Wise All, who I love, the brother, had come through, and we had a nice little conversation. So my man Wise, thank you for taking the time out to be a part, and again, have me be a part of your internet radio station. It means a lot. Also, shout out to my man Delvin Randall. Now, Delvin Randall had me on his podcast called "Do Something for 30 Minutes Every Day" podcast, and Delvin and I go way back. Delvin used to be the program director for WVON Talk Radio here in Chicago, and I never forget the exchange we had. So I'll tell the story then about how amazing Delvin is. So again, as a matter of fact, you go on my Facebook page here, and when you have time, not now because you're a part of the show right now, after the show, okay, we'll do that. After the show, check out the link to it. You can click it on and then listen for you. So it was about almost an hour, I think, about or 30 minutes or so, some change. But it was nice to be in his presence again. He is a very, very strong-hearted gentleman. And again, when I met him years back, he was a board op for my man Art Sims, and Art Sims had a show on there on WVON. He was a board op. I kept becoming a recurring guest co-host for Art, because Art's another brother that I've known for a while. And so going back to Delvin, so Delvin was able to become program director. So on the morning show at WVON, there was a guy named Maze Jackson, and Mays had left the radio station, so they were about to look for another person to do mornings. So Delvin gives me a call and asked me would I be interested in the morning position. He's going to mention my name in the meeting, and I said first and foremost I would love to. I do the standard, 72-hour, 48-hour, timeline, but already I'm saying yes. Why? Most of all, first, really, I would love to do it because my mentor, my Obi-Wan Kenobi guru, Ty Wansley, who's no longer with us, he used to work there. He did morning. So just the fact that I could line up with his star doing that, it would have been fantastic. So for that alone, I would be interested and would love to do it. So, but then he told me about the upcoming programming meeting at BON. And I said, look, brother, I love you, but if you mention my name, the owner of that radio station hates my guts. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I don't know anything to her, but she hates my guts all the way. And so I said, if you mention that, that will like give you like the scarlet letter. You don't need that and everything. So don't mention my name. And then Delvin says to me, without even flinching, if I must die on this hill, then let me do so. Because in his mind, he wanted me to be the morning host for that radio station. Depending on your world, you don't find too many people that will go to bat for you like that. In radio, for me, in terrestrial radio, it's just too cutthroat. Any business is cutthroat, but just my experience being in terrestrial radio, it's too damn cutthroat. You don't meet too many people that are not like that. They're actually human beings, not assholes. And that's very rare. It's very rare because, again, as I told you before, radio is a personality driven industry. But a lot of people who do not have your best interest at heart, they're jealous off the bat and don't tell you why they're jealous. They hate your guts. They can't even tell you to your face why they hate your guts because they created something in their feeble minds. It's sick. Look, I believe that the people in radio, and they know who they are, should have monogram straitjackets. I crap you not. I'm telling you. It is disgusting how these people behave. But it's just the fact that when the dust settles and you meet people over years that are actually human beings, and not only just going to bat for you, but you won't mind hanging out with them. You don't mind talking to them because they get it. They're real down to earth people. So shout out again to Delvin Randall for creating the Do Something for 30 Minutes Every Day podcast. Again, check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Leave comments there on my Facebook page. And once you scroll down, you'll see the link. And let me know because it was a good interview. I really like what Delvin's creating. Has created. What's up, Omar? Says hello, Chris. Nice shirt, buddy. And happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to you too, Omar. Thank you so much. And once again, thank you for calling in this past Monday when we did the show, remembering and honoring Malcolm Jamal Warner. The Grim Reaper has been working overtime. Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy Osbourne, we'll get into that in a little bit because we didn't get a chance to do it on Wednesday. Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan. He's been controversial over these past days from the internet standpoint. Chuck Mangione, flugelhorn extraordinaire, he's not with us. If you follow, this was happening, I think, a few weeks ago, Connie Francis, another classic person, she sung her hit, Where the Boys Are. She passed away. I just found out today when I was going through my research to do the show, the stories, Cleo Lane, another singer, she passed away today. So it's all these, I think she passed away yesterday, but the news came out today. All these people, and some of the people that you may not be familiar with or have followed, whatever, it's just been very, very busy. In this month, again, going back to Michael Madsen, the actor, passed away. So it's been a lot, to say the very least. We go to the phones and say, let me, this works there. Okay, there you go. Go to the phones, say good afternoon to Gus. How you doing, Gus?
Give you updated about senior health care, which I'm involved in, and we talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
And after spending time from hospital to hospital, and the last episode that I was involved in, week and a half, and all they can tell me conclusively is that, well, my heart rate's slow, but that's because I was an athletic when I was younger. I'm not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But my blood pressure, see, they're having trouble controlling it. And they give me, I got 4 different medicines to take care of the blood pressure. Finally got it where it's, it's stable. 120 over 80 like it's supposed to be. But I got to take 4 medicines to get there. And so I asked the doctor, why is that? What's wrong? They don't really know what's wrong. And getting back to all of the people, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and all of the notables that have passed on just recently. Wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't this supposed to be the United States of America? We're supposed to have the best of the best of the best when it comes to medical treatment, when it comes to treating people who have physical needs, our legal things. Our government is supposed to help people. But it seems like other countries, France, Italy, Britain, they're doing a little bit, in Canada, they're doing a little bit better than we are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably got something to do with this. Again, I go off on a tangent with this guy because I don't care for him because, and this is, I don't even want to call him 47. You've given him props. And now he's under investigation because people involved in his cabinet, now they're going into his cabinet. Oh, yeah. I get a little frustrated when it comes to this guy because he's cutting staff, and me being a veteran, out of the Marine Corps, Vietnam veteran, so no. And hospital staffing is being cut, funding going to social services. And what is so good about this guy? And I can't, for the life of me, I can't figure out how any feasible way that this man could have gotten elected again. He didn't do anything the first time he was here. And then he was voted out and whatever, and now he's in again. So now how much more damage he's going to do? And I think I do reference to this, so bear with me on this. It's called executive orders.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's going to do things via executive orders where he doesn't need Congress or anybody.
Right.
And these executive orders last usually for the term of the president who initiated the executive orders, with rare exceptions, because some of the executive orders that President Obama did are in effect and good, and remember that long-term campaign things about what was it, Obamacare, or that healthcare thing, he called it Obamacare.
The Affordable Health Care Act.
Forgive me, but it's like a 4,000-page thing,
right?
And he said it didn't work, and he was going to replace it. He never replaced it with anything. Okay? And if you really get into this, because I was a union representative for 35 years, so we got into this affordable health care and stuff. Mm-hmm. And what the problem is that it was left up, finally. The decision was left up to each of the states, 50 states, to determine eligibility for the health care. All right? Now, knowing what you know and what we all know about the state of Illinois and the corruption that's going on, and it doesn't make a difference if it's Republican, Democrat. I mean, when they get to these certain pinnacles of political power, they seem to forget where they came from.
Right.
And I'm seriously thinking now, how do we find someone who's willing to help people, but that you can trust? Okay. And I don't know who to trust anymore because, the Republican Party is just as messed up as the Democratic Party. Right. And I think we alluded to this when all of you guys, it was 5 guys and you were 6 guys. Remember that program you guys had?
6 guys in
I think, yeah. And I think it was a guy by the name of Dr. Reggie. I think that was his name.
Reggie
and
Miles.
He said he said the Republican con is no different than the Democratic con. A con is a con.
He was right.
And when you go back into things, how our public administrators have been lying to us. I mean, this is going back to the 16th and 17th centuries. Those philosophers, John Locke and everybody. I mean, just that all men are created equal. Okay, bullshit. Okay, if this is true, if these self-truths are self-evident, then you tell me, and no one can answer this. Why then that people who are born here in the United States, especially if they are minorities, black people, and concern with that, why once there must be special legislation geared toward getting rid of the disparity of treatment toward people? I mean, we've heard all about the 1860s and all of the stuff that was promised people. 40 acres of land and a mule. Nothing can be furthest from the truth. I mean, what's that old saying? Forgive me the way I'm going to say it, but you can't BS a BS or can't. Yeah, well, come on now.
Yeah, you can't bullshit a bullshit artist.
Yes, exactly. So now, when are we going to start talking to each other as human beings and trying to help one another? Because, like I said, I'm a senior citizen. I'm 75, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to live, and I have to depend on healthcare stuff because, unfortunately, I make too much money because I got a big pension, I got my Social Security and Medicare benefits, so I can't give benefits other people can get.
Right. So
I have to pay. And the last episode I was in the hospital for, it was like a week and a half. My bill was $2,500. Now all I have to pay is 10%. Ooh, am I hot about that? Yeah. But they'll allow me to pay a little bit at a time. But see, we're not getting any relief, us folks. We're not.
Right.
And knock wood, hopefully, everyone's health who are listening to this can understand it. Hey, you know what? As we get older, we're supposed to have things a little bit better for us, but we don't. As seniors, we're looking at iron doors. For us, it's Wednesday and we see Sunday looking both ways. I mean, it's a horrible way of doing it, but hey, I'm looking for some kind of outlet, something where we can get a little bit of help. I mean, I'm not asking for nothing. All I want is just and fair treatment. Treat me according to my needs. Don't give me something that I don't deserve,
Right.
And I'm not saying anything against being the state of Illinois being a sanctuary state, which they just announced that. I think it was recently. It was only the city of Chicago was sanctuary, but now it's the whole state. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you can show that you're leaving a political environment to save your life and your family, yeah. And that used to be coming to America. We open the doors for the world. We are the melting pot for the world. We're supposed to be the best of the best. What are we? We're so ensconced on trying to say that, well, these people who are illegal are, no, come on. I don't believe that one bit. How many illegal people are coming into our country, all right, that's causing an influx with Medicare and no, that's a lie. That's a lie that this 47 is doing. And I drew the correlation to him in, 1930s Europe, because he sure sounds like Adolf to me. I mean, he's doing the same thing Adolf did with the banks, the political structure, and everything else. And now we're starting to see a lot of people around him, they're trying to investigate these people because of some kind of fraudulent activity. So when are we going to wake up? This guy should not be in that office. And I don't know how we're going to get rid of it. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I hear the pain in your voice, and you have every right to feel that way. So when you look at 47, I mentioned before in this program, one of his mentors was a guy named Roy Cohn. And Roy Cohn was a New York attorney who worked with Joseph McCarthy, going back to McCarthy hearings. And so he told Trump, deny everything, take credit for everything. And that's what Trump does. I mean, that's what 47 does. For example, when he's being interviewed, I don't know. I've never heard anything. It's how you not know when you're in the highest office in the land. So the man does not have a truthful bone in his body. So what we need to do individually is to find like-minded people and help each other. It's like a ground swelling of support amongst ourselves. We cannot look to government because government made it very, very clear. Don't give two damns about us, period. This whole thing with Medicaid, Medicare, and just again, going back to 47, I'm going to repeal and replace with nothing, like you said, for nothing at all. So we have to find ways to take care of each other. The whole medicine situation, Medicare, I don't know. We're screwed. I hate to say it because I don't see any end in sight. But as far as day-to-day communities and going back to and not being afraid to talk to your neighbor, not being afraid to have a conversation with somebody across the street, we become alienated and individualized in our own neighborhoods over the years. So if we're able to huddle amongst ourselves and help each other, we got to once again find like-minded people. Look, and once again, it's not begging, it's helping. Look, I need about $25 more to get some more groceries. I need this to help me pay my bill. So if we're able to help each other, because we cannot look, the thing about it is that we cannot always look to somebody else to help us. We need to start helping ourselves and get back to us, the us that made this country great, the us that continues to make this country great from the standpoint of people doing hard work, doing the legwork, standing on the shoulders of people who have died for this country. We have to get back to that, because if we don't, we're all lost completely. Okay, I'm done. You go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was just very frustrated because I'm on YouTube a lot and I see all this stuff, and now he's being investigated. Yeah, and no one can honestly answer why he hates, because it appears as though that he won't admit he hates working class people, but he does. And I don't know what it is about us. You work for a living. I work for a living. I'm living off my retirement, depending on the fruits of my labor over 50, 60 years of working. I'm in my 70s now. I'm in my golden years. And I'm supposed to have things that are applicable to making my life a little easier. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I want something for nothing, but I can't afford any more than I'm doing now. If I get sick, I can't afford to go to a hospital. And I'm seeing the horror stories where people aren't eating because they're trying to pay for their medicine to take their medicine. They're not eating food. And unfortunately, we're all going to perish because of what this guy is doing. And nobody's trying to correct it. And like you say, and I agree, we got to help each other. But we can't help each other because he's keeping us at odds with each other. Yeah. He's saying, well, don't support your friend because your friend is really your enemy. That's what he's trying to say. But these white supremacist groups, they're okay. There's nothing wrong with them.
No, of course not.
And to me, this guy, and I shouldn't be putting out names, but boy, he reminds me of the David Duke all the way.
Oh, you're going back to that dude, from Louisiana. Yeah, David Duke. Yeah, it's all part of the sick, racist, white racist mindset. So going back to 47, he's running scared because he knows he's involved in that Jeffrey Epstein files. He knows it because here's the thing. You can't use that old goddamn playbook that you used years before. So what does he do? He brings up Obama. He brings up Biden. He brings up Hillary Clinton. That dog don't hunt no more. It didn't hunt back then, and sure as hell don't hunt now. So he is talking out of his ass as he usually do, but more so now because he knows he's about to get fried. And so he's doing his best to deflect. He's talking about changing the name of the Washington Commanders in the NFL back to the Redskins. He's saying all this idiotic stuff to get people to fall for the okie doke and not get back on him. Hell, his own MAGA people are putting pressure for opening up the files on Jeffrey Epstein. So he came and run to his own people because they want to find out. Why? Because when he was running for the office, all these goddamn conspiracy theories. And he kept feeding the MAGA people red meat. And they want red meat for this one too. So they won't let it go. His own people will not let it go. So yeah, he's on the fence, doctor. So yeah, I'm just waiting to see what happens. Now, the scary thing is that if we find out something about him dealing with something he shouldn't be dealing with, something outrageous, something that's unmoral or immoral, they'll say okay with it. People will okay with it. Why? Because they okayed him already. 34 felony counts and indicted twice. I mean, he doesn't stick. Everything is like the classic Teflon Don situation. I hope this brings him down, but because of past situations, I'm not holding my breath. I think, for example, if he's found, for example, to having sex with younger girls or girls like in their 8, 9, 10, I think a lot of people will say, okay, that's fine, that's cool, because they kind of say sign off on other stuff he's done. So why should this be any different? Back to you.
Okay, well, see, the other issue is this, and remember, I alluded to the executive orders.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's something else that you may not be aware of.
Right.
He's doing presidential pardons. He's in the process of doing this right now while he's in office. And look at the people that he's possibly going to pardon. And you brought up a name, Epstein. You remember that movie mogul that did all that funny stuff? I think his name was Epstein, wasn't it? Or Epstein?
I have to go back and check.
I think it was Epstein.
Okay.
I'm not pronouncing it right. It was. I think it was Epstein. He's up for parole.
Yeah. I think you're right. The whole cycle that we're witnessing here is obviously despicable, and I say it's pure evil. So, but when you have someone like him and surrounded by people who are also pure evil, it just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. And then the MAGA people who are part of a cult that follow him, again, he can, as he said years ago, I could shoot somebody in Madison Square Garden, and then he got that lie from the remake of Double Indemnity. People will say okay, and when people reward bad behavior and say it's okay, it's destruction of society itself. Morals are out the window. You know, it's a free for all. It's decadent. It's evil. It's disgusting. That's what we're seeing right now. The damnedest of shame. It really is.
Wow. I want to thank you so much for always bearing patience with me, because, you know, I do have a problem with this 47 guy. I had a problem with him ever since he was coming up, because he's not a successful businessman. Right. We already know his history, and he's getting away with this stuff because he's playing on the on our thought processes, because, you know, we cannot help each other because we're too worried about what our neighbor is doing rather than trying to help our neighbor. We want to criticize our neighbor, not to team up and help one another. And unless we do that and come back together with one another, we're going to have a major problem. And then there's people like me, and I'm in my senior years, and I'm having difficulty because of what this guy's doing. And I can't prove that it's him. So I don't know what to tell you. So, you know, I'll hang up and listen to your comments. I apologize to your listeners and everybody else. I'm sorry. I'm anguished, and I know I'm venting, but I'm just frustrated with this guy because there's nothing I can do. And we already know the difficulties that the state of Illinois is going through right now. We're going through a major problem. Most of our politicians, I don't have to name names, but you know they're all being brought up on the carpet now for all kinds of chicanery and things that are going bad. You know,
shenanigans,
and you already know that one of the biggest guy was in power for 40 some years, and now they got him in indictment, and they're probably. But see, but it doesn't make a difference. You're a Democrat or a Republican. If you're stealing, if you're corrupt, if you're hurting the citizenry. You see, they change their true colors once they get in office. We heard that before. So
absolutely.
So I will have a good day, sir. And again, I still haven't forgotten about your lamp. I want you to know this now. I still haven't forgotten about your lamp.
Well, first of all, bad person. First of all, like I said before, you know, I know how you're about the lamp, And the whole venting thing, you venting, man, look, I'd rather have you vent here and anywhere you can, but no, I love you more, so go on and vent. Now, again, as I said before, I will try to sanction this fight between you and my lamp. And so my lamp is around here, so because I moved. So I'm going to find the lamp. My money's on the lamp. I am Don King with no hair. So once I get everything settled in, I will call you and we'll get the fight together. So we'll make it happen. So
all right, my brother.
All right, brother. Take care, Gus. Love you more. Take care, brother. Bye-bye. It's not easy. And you heard the pain in Gus's voice. And like I said before, I don't mind inventing here. In fact, I'm rather honored because of the fact that someone like Gus who served for this country and should be having the best health care and the best coverage when it comes to his medical conditions, and he can't because there's people in government, 47 at the helm, who's just trying to destroy everything when it comes to the Affordable Health Care Act. And not just for Gus, obviously, but for other people as well. And just the fact that, again, I believe it's pure evil that all this is going down. Back to the comment section. I saw this comment by Jed. Let's see. Let me get up here first because yeah, there you go, Jed. How you doing? It does seem like the same playbook, Gus. This is how the Depression started. Only this is more dumb. I go along with that. And then behind that, Jed typed, scared filling out my medical renewal paperwork this year. Fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed is right. I'm telling you, this is no joke. Sick types is good to hear, Gus, but how come the lamp is out of sight? Is the lamp in camp training for the big fight? Well, to be transparent with you, Sick, the lamp is in lamp training, not camp training, lamp training. So you gotta take that word and put it over there, lamp. So there you go. So the lamp is in training. So I won't give the secret location where the lamp is training at. But once I sanction this fight, Gus versus the lamp, yeah, it's going to be one. That's going to be interesting. Back to the comment section. What's up, Tom Tradup? Greetings from the top. Pikes Peak in sunny Colorado. Was it Colorado? Like the baseline, a real pinnacle. You wax politically, sir. Very poetically. How you doing, Tom Tradup? Tom Tradup, of course, my former president and general manager back at WLS AM and FM. Got to have you on the show, Tom. You're a busy man, but I wouldn't mind having you on CBI for Chris-based interview. So I hope you get a chance to come through, get a chance to interview you and, know your background. So I know of you, of course, I work with you, but let's see if we can have you on the program. So I mentioned before about the Reaper being busy, grim, that is, and these people that have been in various industries and have shown their worth, have shown what they may contribute to in their individual entertainment businesses or businesses in general. Like I said before, I mean, Connie Francis, going back to the days of the 50s and 60s, singer icon. Cleo Lane, British singer, stage and Broadway. She passed away. So again, going back to Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan, Chuck Mangione, a lot, and other people once again that you may like and have followed over the years that I've not mentioned. But yeah, this is what happens, especially people you grew up with. Your childhood people are leaving, and that's what happens. Just stating the obvious, but it still hurts when that happens. And we'll get into it later about Hulk Hogan because, as I said before, yeah, all these people online, him using the N-word when his daughter was dating a black man and everything else. I'm not giving him a free pass. No, not at all. But I cannot diminish what the man has done in his career. I can't just, again, that goes back to what I said about Bill Cosby and the Cosby Show. We talked about the passing of Malcolm Jamal Warner. So you may not like what these people have become or has shown you that side of them that they've been able to keep out the public for years and now is out. Yes, it's wrong. You could diminish them and don't follow them anymore, but you cannot diminish what their career has been prior to. My dad and I used to watch wrestling all the time. I remember when Hulk Hogan first started, he was a heel, meaning he was a bad guy, and he had a manager. It wasn't a very popular manager, but the manager was the mouthpiece. The manager was the one who said about Hogan having the 24-inch, python and stuff like that. It was the manager talk. He didn't talk. And this was Bob Loose Wrestling here in Chicago when we had Channel 44. We had UHF and VHF. So we had UHF TV going to Channel 44 here in Chicago. And my dad and I watched Bob Loose Wrestling every Sunday at 11 a.m. if I didn't go to church. So if my mom went to church, my mom went to church, and my sister, and we stayed home, we watched wrestling. And him, of course, going on to the WWF, becoming WWE, and then coming over to Nitro on WCW. It was good entertainment. If you liked wrestling, hell, at one point, wrestling on Monday nights for WCW, TNT, they were beating out Monday Night Football in the ratings. That's how popular it was. And then when Hulk Hogan came over there and started the whole thing with the NWO, yeah, it was good theater. It was. So again, do I like the fact he used the N-word? No, I do not. But I cannot diminish the man's career. I can't do that. That's not in my purview. Again, you just have to be realistic. Because a lot of people want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Fuck them. Let's throw them all out. And yeah, you can do that, but no, I can't rock and roll like that. He served in the military and also as a New Jersey elected official. Please welcome back the one that only has very good content. I recommend you check it out. George L. Cook III. How you doing, George?
How you doing, Chris? How you doing this great Friday?
Man, I can't call it, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. Oh, and that was Lou Albano. That was his manager when Hulk Hogan.
Okay, but this was, what? It wasn't Lou. In fact,
was it somebody before Lou?
It was before Lou.
Oh, I remember Lou Albano.
Oh, Lou with the rubber bands in his
beard and all that stuff. Yeah,
right. No, all that was good stuff for entertainment purposes, and that's they really focus on that. So when he made the move, because see, the thing about wrestling, this too, it was territorial. So you had the East Coast, Midwest, and then you had the West and everything going out towards that direction. And so you had different fractions of wrestling. Though, and talk about Hulk Hogan real quick. For me, wrestling, and don't give his proper due, the one I think that helped galvanize what they call the shootout when the wrestler talks to the audience and talks to the reporter, Classy Freddie Blassie.
Yeah. I
went back and watched some of his earlier work when he was younger. He was the master because he would tell you where he was going to wrestle the next day or 2 days after that. Hey, get a camera on me, you pencil neck geek. The next time you see me, I'll be at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago. And so he was able to promote himself, and he was one of the forerunners of doing that. So him, Gorgeous George back in the day, he was the guy who had the long blonde hair and the bow and stuff like that. Yeah, man. And people like Ric Flair, Billy Graham, superstar Billy Graham.
Ivan Putski, who held the belt for like 18,000 years.
Right, exactly. So it's amazing when you look at the evolution of wrestling and it becoming now one whole big company. As before, like I said before, it was sectioned off. And at one point, the WWE and became the WWE, and then then WCW, they really had a good war going back and forth between those wrestlers and those programs.
Yeah, until Bischoff got carried away. But yeah, they had a nice fight. I think Bischoff was the downfall of paying the people that were over the hill a lot of money and all that stuff. That's what killed them. Because we grew up actually watching WCW before I saw WWF. They used to come on at midnight back here. And unless my mother was having a Pekino game, we couldn't stay up late enough to watch that. And they used to put the 3 X's on the screen when there was blood and all that. So
right.
I remember that when I was little. But we grew up watching WCW actually, and then later on switched over when WCW went crazy.
Oh man, and you're right. The whole thing with the NWO, it got out of hand. It got carried away, and
Black. It's just there was like 5,000 NWOs.
Yeah, they ran to the ground. They really did. They really should have had just one fraction, and that was it. And so, if you took a page, for example, once again, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time still is Ric Flair. And so, when Ric Flair and the 4 Horsemen were formed, that's all you had. It wasn't fraction of 4 Horsemen. Either you were a part of it or not.
Yeah.
I think they should have. I know Eric Bischoff trying to do something different, but he just ran into the ground. I stopped watching it.
He didn't have too many ideas, so it was just make as many different iterations of the NWO as you could to keep it going at toward the end.
Right. Exactly. Let me go to the comment section real quick. We're talking about this. Wolfpack, baby. Okay, you know what? I'll probably give you the Wolfpack, but then after that, stop. I was very weary of that because I said, okay, that's going to snowball into other fractions, and it did. And it's like 85 different fractions of the NWO, and you ran the brand into the ground.
And that's what, again, a lack of ideas, a lack of building up people to step in. And he had too many old guys. You know, when old wrestlers get in there, they're not giving up the spot. And Hulk Hogan was notorious for doing other younger wrestlers dirty. He wasn't putting nobody over.
Oh, man. You have to go back on YouTube. The one who hated his guts from day one, A1, was Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan had all the dirt, or to say tea, on Hogan back in real time. I mean, he hated his guts. I think part of the reason was they're supposed to do a collaboration, both men, and Hogan found a way to weasel out the deal and left Bobby Heenan hanging in this whatever deal they're going to do together. So ever since then, no love for him whatsoever. So
it's a lot of wrestlers on YouTube making their feelings known right now.
Oh, I gotta check it out.
It's not someone just saying I'm not going to say anything because they were raised not to say anything ill of the dead. So
yeah,
but a lot of people are not happy because he buried a lot of people. He buried. Let's be honest. Some people he just refused to lose to. I think the only person he probably really respected was Andre the Giant. Maybe Macho Man. I don't know. There's something he respected a lot of people.
Well, the thing about Andre, because as we know, Andre was the one who put him over.
Yeah.
So you have to, like this, as what is Ric Flair said, in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man.
The man, yeah.
So he had, and Andre didn't want to give it up either. So, you know, it's one of those things where you're the champ and you relish being the champ and you have all these years of success and everything else. So now it's time for you to retire. It's time for you to go.
Yeah.
So when you put the other person over, it's not just anybody. So when you bring in that special person like Hogan, and of course, Hogan went into the next level. I think the only one at that time that could match the energy that Hogan had was Randy Savage.
Yeah.
When you think about it. So the whole thing about Randy Savage, Macho Man, I love his act. Elizabeth, who actually was Randy Savage's wife at the time.
Yeah, you had the Ultimate Warrior there too for a minute, but then you realize he was a knockoff of Hulk Hogan eventually. So
right, yeah, that was I didn't like him at all. I mean, no offense, he was just too out there for me. I guess that was the point, but nah. What do you say, Gus? The wrestling thing took a lot from Muhammad Ali. I don't know about that. The thing about Ali, I mean, Ali never got into wrestling, but I think again, when you have to know when to get out. And some people know when to get out the game. Ali had to go through that, unfortunately, with boxing because he stayed too long. And you have to know when to take your curtain call. And that's in any profession. But going back to Hogan, Hogan, again, notorious for screwing people over when they hang around too long. But again, I think what happens is that you look at the notoriety, the money gets better. Yeah. So in their minds, why would you leave?
And they still want him. I mean, people talk about him, but he shows up in the arena. Well, not the last time he showed up, but previous to that, when he showed up, the crowd went crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you were still drawing, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's not fair to the younger wrestler, but if you're still drawing and you're still making money, why not show up? I just wish that you would talk to him, pass things down, help the younger guys out. Because at a certain point, you're like, damn, he's still wrestling? And you want to see somebody new. Like how is Ric Flair still alive and Hulk Hogan's dead? It makes no sense to me.
Oh, yeah. And my man, Roddy Piper, was another one that I really liked. I liked his act. As a matter of fact, Sick mentioned about that. Don't forget about Roddy Piper. God bless his soul, man. I love his act, man.
Yeah. And he was good. He was also good in movies too. So I liked him. He made some cheesy movies, but they were good.
He did. They Live.
They Live is like, and that's a classic, cult classic now.
Yeah, absolutely. Him and Keith David.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Keith just got starring on Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yep.
Good for him. I saw that reaction, and it was genuine. Because I said about the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Anybody's grandmother and dog, if you pay for it, can get a star on the Hollywood Walk.
I don't know what it is now. At one time, it was 10,000. I don't know what it is now, but
I know it's bigger than that now.
You pay for it, you can get but some people really do deserve it. He was one of those people that deserve. To me, for the thing, he deserved it. That's alone. For the thing, he deserved it. But he deserved to be on the Walk of Fame.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. A couple more comments like this about wrestling real quick, and then of course we're get on to what you got here on your tab here. Let's see. So we get to this. Hold on. So what you got here? The NWO was originally formed in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, I didn't know about that. I had no idea. So again, and thanks for telling us about that. The ability to take something original and then go for it and then see what happens again. Just the fact that I could see it like it was yesterday when Hulk Hogan made the heel turn.
Yeah.
And how people were throwing beer cans and garbage in the ring. I was like, this is great.
And they were actual news reports. Like it was they had
right,
news
like this big ass story.
Him going Hill. I remember that. You got the black, you got the beard or the mascara, whatever that was.
Yeah, that was horrid.
All of a sudden, he put on the all black, and all of a sudden, he was a bad guy. But he was good. He was good as a bad guy.
He really was. I like the heel turn. I thought it was great. So next to that, what's on your agenda? What's on the docket, Mr. Cook?
You may have touched on some of this stuff.
Sure.
Your boy Trump he's with the distraction right now. The Obama treason. You got him Tulsi Gabbard, who should have been fired a long time ago, but she's trying to save a job. She comes up with this bullshit about Obama committing treason. There's nothing there. If there was something there, they would have done something about it when Trump was president the first time. If there was really something there, this is just distraction. The MLK files being released, another example of distraction. But I do ask people to respect the family. There's gonna be some stuff in there because the FBI was after him. They were trying to discredit him, demean Dr. Martin Luther King. So some stuff you're going to see in there is just bogus. Its only intent was to make Dr. Martin Luther King look bad, and that family should have been allowed to see the files before they were released. That's a damn shame that the family of the greatest civil rights icon in United States history was not allowed to view the files that the FBI had on them before they were released. That's a shame. Yeah, but besides the distraction, we have some other things we need to be paying attention to. Gerrymandering going on, like in Texas, where they talk about they're being obvious about it, saying what they want to do. Thankfully, you have states like New Jersey, New York, California, Maryland, who are like, okay, you want to play that game? We're going to do it too. Hope is true because Democrats sometimes they talk about kicking ass, but when it's time to actually kicking ass, sometimes they slow on the draw. But hopefully they serious. I mean, Murphy, I know he has nothing to lose here in New Jersey, so he's probably really gonna do it because New Jersey has the most powerful governor, so I don't think it's going to be any hold there. But everybody else, I hope they do this and make sure we get back control of the House. I mean, who talks about half a year, let's gerrymander so we can stay in power? They're just making it obvious they're going to cheat to win. And unfortunately, if you're a Democrat, you can't play by the Queensberry rules and expect to beat them in the 2026 elections. And another thing that's taking effect immediately is if you're going to college or you know someone that's going to college, the big beautiful bill is screwing people over already. It's reduced the amount that you can borrow. If you're trying to get student loans, to reduce the amount your parents can borrow. So students who have already been accepted to college go to fill out the FAFSA and realize they can't get enough money to go to college. So it's GoFundMe's all over the place right now.
Right.
So I feel really bad. And then there's one girl, what's her name? Tamaya Akers. You may have heard of her. Her story went viral. She was a foster child adopted by a white family. She wanted to go to Howard because she was always never around her own people. Gets accepted. She's happy. Goes to fill out the FAFSA, she can't get enough money to go to Howard. Now, fortunately for her, she raised over $118,000, so she'll be okay, but everybody can't do that. That's so a lot of these people who think stuff is going to happen next year, it's already taking effect and impacting students this year. So those are some of the issues that I bring up on my website, on my page, and those are some of the things they've been talking about this week.
From your perspective, George, what's it going to take for the Democrats to reinvent themselves?
Settle balls. I mean, right now, the person with the biggest balls in the Democratic Party is Jasmine Crockett. And it shouldn't be. I mean, they have nothing to lose by standing up and being right. At this point, you have nothing to lose by standing up and being tough. I love Hakeem Jeffries, but he's too much of a gentleman to do what needs to be done. I mean, even when he makes a tough guy video, I laugh because I'm like, that's not you, bro. I'm no disrespect.
Right.
But you just, that's not your persona. But they need more Democrats to stand up. And I don't mean they got to curse, but just stand up.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. I mean, you just had the young man in Texas. I can't remember his name. God forgive me, but he stood up at the Texas legislature and they dragged him out of there about the gerrymandering. As a matter of fact, he's still in jail. You have to do things like that. Protest. Don't be scared of Republicans. And if you got to fight dirty, fight dirty. I mean, this is politics. Unfortunately, in this era of Trump, gentlemen don't win.
Yeah, that's true.
So we gotta if you want to do the right thing, sometimes you gotta do, you got to get in the dirt. You got to get in the mud.
No, you're right. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're right because a while back, Reverend Al Sharpton said this on MSNBC about 47. He said that you need to do a street fight with 47. You can't be in a boxing ring and have rules and regulations. You have to go in there and fight and pick up brass knuckles or bottles and 2x4s. He said that 47 is a street fighter.
He's a street fighter. You got to get dirty. You got to kick him in the nuts, bite his ear, all that stuff. Come with the elbows. I mean, and I guarantee you, the first time he gets hit like that, he won't know what to do because very rarely he's in a situation where he has to go on defense. I mean, this Epstein files thing has got him pinched up, hemmed up a little bit. But it's like really the first time we see him have to go on defense.
Yes.
And we need more of that. We need, when you got something on him, don't let it go. Don't give it up. And the other thing about that is it's funny how Republicans want to gaslight us now and say this is Democrats going after him when they started the shit.
Exactly.
Now they're trying to make it seem like it's like the Democrats are after. No, you guys started. You and the YouTube bros and the Joe Rogan people and all these people talking about we know something and we know Bill Clinton's guilty. Hey, now you got what you asked for. You're starting to realize, oh, somebody's name is in that report a little bit too much. It's too late now.
Right, exactly. Go back to the comment section. I'm doing Diane. She says, I agree, George. She agrees with you. And see, the thing about it is that I think the party can be salvaged. Right now, it looks like that we cannot get in this muck and mire and get dirty, which we should. Because again, I've been staying in the show from day one, A1. This is an all-out fight. And I want people to represent me and others, I think, that want to fight. Not just sit there and take it. Not just sit there, oh, okay, I'll be all right. No, go in there and fight back. Do what you got to do because everything's at stake. It's not just one thing. Everything is at stake. To the point where South Park had this episode about 47, and I love it because it's not like they don't make fun of just him. They make fun of everybody. Over the years. And so just the fact that, yeah, you got 47 and you follow South Park over the years, the voice sounds like the voice they were making fun of Saddam Hussein. A little baby, squeaky voice. And the one part I like was when 47 takes off his clothes and gets in the bed with Satan.
And you know that upset him. You know that.
Of course.
The only other person that ever did that was Saddam Hussein. So that's not good. That's not good company. That's not. Hey, and the funny thing is, Paramount went through all that. And it's over like just the rights to South Park was like 1.5 billion, some ridiculous number.
And for Skydance Media.
And just to have the rights to air South Park on Paramount. This show that Trump claims has no relevance and is going down in the ratings.
Right.
But that hurt him. But like I said, he can't shake this Epstein files thing. I really want to see what comes of this. I really, especially what they're doing now with what's her name in jail. All of a sudden now she's not a sexual predator. Now all of a sudden she might be a victim. So that lets me know maybe she knows.
Ghislaine Maxwell?
But yes, all of us now those same people that were calling to see the files. Oh, maybe she's a victim. They're doing anything they can to try to save Trump right now.
Come on,
keep his name out of the press on this issue.
Yeah. Here it is. Here's the story about the $8 billion you were talking about. The FCC, Federal Communications Commission, announced yesterday the approval of a massive $8 billion acquisition by Paramount Global by Skydance Media. Yeah. Absolutely amazing, man.
But it's scary.
It is scary.
The whole TV show was canceled. The Late Show was canceled. They can say whatever they want. That was canceled so that deal would go through.
Of course.
And that's scary where if you put out content or something he doesn't like, you can get taken off the air, get shut down, whatever. That's in a country where you're supposed to have freedom of speech. And which protects you from the government can shut you down.
Well, because he's a fucking baby. I mean, let's call it for what it is. Yeah. And so, no, he's a grown-ass man, but he's a fucking baby. And so when you're going to sit there and be that thin-skinned, you have bigger fish to fry, as I said before earlier in this program. You have bigger fish to fry because you think in your mind that you're a celebrity, not celebrity again from being the president, I said before on Wednesday, a celebrity like, like The Rock and Tom Cruise and Denzel Washington. He thinks he's in that. Yeah. His mind space thinks he's one of them. So when a fellow person in the media makes fun of him, oh my God, his orange heart is hurt. So now he has to go after them. So just the fact that you're not going to replace Stephen Colbert because you're afraid if that's going to have the next person come back and make fun of you, you will get rid of the whole show. The whole show. And he even said that Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon are next.
But I don't think Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon give a fuck, to be honest with you. I think they're kind
They
of
don't.
resigned to it's probably going to happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, how can you, it shows that this is a huge sign of immaturity for Donald Trump. You're the most powerful person in the world.
Right.
You're letting somebody saying something about you bother you? You're the president of the United States. Only a few people have ever held that position. If I was president now, you could talk about me all day. It wouldn't bother me.
Correct.
It's a very petty man, a very childish man, a very immature man. Very
Back to
thin
the
skin.
very thin skin. Back to the comment section. So guest type. So the question to ask the Democratic Party is, what do you have to offer us citizens of the U.S.?
Wow, you remember that Kamala Harris that became president, she had 25,000 people to buy new homes. Maybe
Mhm.
you've forgotten about that.
Yeah.
You see what's going on with the police. We wouldn't have a president that basically told the police, do whatever the hell you want. You saw what
Right.
happened with William McNeil.
Mhm.
Maybe students will be able to actually to afford to go to college. We wouldn't be worried about Medicaid and Medicare. So maybe you should be asking, what would Democrats take away? Democrats are not trying to take away anything from you that you already have.
Mhm.
Democrats are not trying to take your voting rights.
Right.
So I get it. Some people don't like Democrats. But Republicans in a few short time that Trump has been in office has done more to hurt Americans than any administration I can think of. I mean, look at the unemployment rate when they fired all those people in Washington, D.C.
Oh my
Fired
God.
the Department of Education. When you have a disabled child or somebody like that who goes to school, who do you think speaks up for your child to make sure that they're taken care of? If people are not going to realize who they need help, what's happened when he let these people go? FEMA. That's told Maryland to go kick rocks over disaster aid. You think
Right.
Texas is really going to get that much aid? Arkansas, they told Miss Piggy no, and she supported them.
Right.
So I'm just saying that I hate when people. What did Democrats do? What are Republicans doing right now? That's my fire back. And a lot of things they did, Democrats would never do.
No. Hey, you got that right. Also, Diane typed. First of all, she typed, "Preach George." And again,
Thank you,
this
Diane.
all stems. Yeah, Diane's my girl. She said this all stems from him being humiliated at the Congress, at a correspondence dinner years ago. And you're right. And
Mm-hmm.
what makes you think that you're off limits when it comes to being talked about? And that's what a classic bully is. A bully always can dish it out, but can't take it. And they're very weak-minded people in the guise of a tough exterior. Deep down, they're punks. Deep down, they're classic, just idiotic people. And so, but they know they are, and they know they're insecure. But if they put on that mask and pretend to be hard and pretend to be they don't give a shit, then people are kind of leery to try to pick a fight with them. But deep down, it's like the old classic rap song, punks jump up to get beat down. And he's definitely one of them.
And he's a man child, plain and simple. I mean,
Yes, he is.
if you go to a correspondent dinner and you have some type of name recognition, you're gonna get messed with.
Absolutely.
That's like going to a comedian show, sitting in the first two rows, and getting mad because the comedian points at you and makes a joke. It's going to happen. You went there, it's all in fun. And I think
Yes.
the problem was it wasn't just anybody saying it. Let's be honest. It was the first black president of the United States. It's
Right.
just that's what he couldn't believe that this black person was president of the United States and making jokes about him.
Because originally, and Diane's part of the media too, when he was meeting 47, well, I won't go call him out his name sometimes, but when he was running for the presidency, the rumor around the campfire was that he was trying to start his own cable news network and that he needed content for that. Why? Because he needed material. So what do you do? I'm running for the presidency to get content to help start this news network because he was already mad at NBC because the whole apprentice thing that he went through.
Yeah.
And then he was mad at CNN for the person who used to be the president of NBC went to CNN. So they caught hell. So he figured, okay, let me create my own network. And it didn't happen. And he fucked around, became president. And so that was what I heard. And for some reason, I believe it.
I believe it. I wish he would have formed a network because that would have failed too, like the USFL, like Trump University, like Trump Stakes. It would have all failed too. She would have formed it.
Exactly. Man, like I said before, it was always great to have you on. More information about you, Mr. Cook, or where can people find you at, sir?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, formerly known as X, Fanbase, which is black owned. Find me on all of those at George Cook at aareports.com. On all those same Same name, George Cooks at AAReports.com. And I want to apologize for the audience for spending like 10 minutes on wrestling.
No, it's cool. No, in fact, no, an audience that I have, they're very, going from top to top. And it is Free Your Mind Friday, so that's cool, man. So, we can make it up. At least you got more so to talk about. Now, I didn't want to cut into your time.
No. That's. I figured we would touch on Hulk Hogan, but we get a little bit in the weeds there. But that was fun.
Yeah, taking on life of his own. Like I said, for people in the comment section were commenting and everything else, so that's always good. In fact, we might have a special topic again just on wrestling alone. Why are you a fan? And outside of Hulk Hogan, obviously, but just the fact that once again, for what it was, I don't watch it these days nowadays, but I had my era when I was watching these things, and again, it was just great to watch. And all these larger than life personalities were coming through. And back in the 80s, in particular, you had cartoons, you had toys. That was just birthing this whole PR movement of wrestling.
And truth be told, I still watch. They had the Bloodline story lately. It was like probably one of the best stories on television. The problem is with wrestling, when they have something great, then you got to go through a few months to a year of trash to come up with another idea. It's only one. Well, you got WWE, TNA, AEW, which I can't get into. But you've got other things to watch. But like I said, they have their good runs, then they go straight trash. But hey, it's like watching a soap opera where people beating the hell out of each other.
There you go. Right. All this is soap opera. That's right. A violent soap opera, to say the least. Man, George L. Cook III joins us every second and fourth Friday here on BaseLine. My best to your family and your wife, and have a fantastic weekend, bro. I'll see you next time.
You have a great weekend too, sir.
Thank you so much. Take care, bro.
All right.
George L. Cook III, as always, bringing good content and obviously doing his thing here on BaseLine Radio. I look forward to him coming. I look forward to having the people making their contributions here as well. So I might try to grow that. And Diane would tell you, Diane was a correspondent of mine when I was doing BaseLine on, what was it? What's the name of that damn station I worked at? Something Jams. Like, I don't want to talk about the station itself. That was a long time ago, but I was doing BaseLine then. It was pre-recorded, and Diane was my entertainment correspondent. So it was nice to interact with her. I like the fact that she was able to come on board. And it's not really her specialty, because she's a print media person, a writer. But just the fact that she would step out of her comfort zone and come on with me. I remember she was kind of hesitant about it, and she came on. I think it was some of our best work together as host to correspondent. And she always had these entertainment stories that we would go over and make fun of and everything else. So I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, you got the emojis there, Diane. Yeah, it was cool. Cool. This is before she became the resident pickleball champion here on BaseLine. But before that happened, again, she was a former correspondent of mine for entertainment news. So good stuff. So again, Free Your Mind Friday continues. As you heard, George, you want the link, ask for the link. Or let's see, I don't know if Pastor will come through or not, so I have to wait on that. So we'll see if that's going to happen. If so, then of course we have Pastor Donovan Price to come on. Still could call in if you like. You heard Gus in the first hour. Call in. Why don't you do the same? It's there for you. Here's the phone number again. If you don't know, 312-597-2106. Again, 312-597-2106. The YouTube channel, the Chris Base channel, all one void with a period at the end of the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Instagram, I am the Base. Also continue to comment in the comment section there, the Peanut Gallery, or you ask for the link, put the link through, and then we'll make it do what it do. It rhymed. Going back to the SEC deal that you had the $8 million acquisition from Paramount Global by Skydance Media. The deal includes the CBS Broadcast Network, Paramount Pictures, and Nickelodeon. Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, said in a statement after the announcement that he welcomes Skydance's commitment to make a significant changes at the once storied CBS Broadcast Network. Americans no longer trust the legacy national news media to report fully, accurately, and fairly, Carr said, adding, "It is time for a change." Wonder what the change is. Carr added that the merger was a step forward in eliminating what he called invidious forms of diversity, equity, and inclusion measures. Sounds kind of bullshitty to me, but that's just me. The FCC said in a press release about the acquisition that Skydance had made written commitments to ensure future programming from the company that would have a diversity of viewpoints across the political and ideological spectrum. Skydance also said it would hire an independent advisor to evaluate complaints of bias. The FCC voted 2-1 to approve the acquisition, with Commissioner Ana Gomez casting the opposing vote. Gomez released a dissent on the merger, saying it would further erode press freedom. After months of cowardly capitulation to this administration, Paramount finally got what it wanted. Unfortunately, it is the American public who will ultimately pay the price for its actions, she added. And she's right. She's absolutely correct in her assessment. I think that it is the damnedest of shame that we've seen ABC fold to 47's lawsuit, as we know by now. The same with CBS, with 60 Minutes. They dished out of what, 10 million, whatever it was, or just all this money so-called going to his Trump University. And then as we got the timeline, that after he won the lawsuit, we get the news that Stephen Colbert is stepping down from the Late Show. He'll be his last show will be in May of next year, 2026, and also breaking up the Late Show period. So no more Late Show and no more Stephen Colbert on that program. So it's dirty deeds done dirt cheap, as AC/DC once exclaimed in their song. It still stings because, again, like I said, I'm a creature of late night. I love late night TV since I was a kid. And to see this happen to what I thought, like most people would say, free speech, it ain't free no more. The emperor wears no clothes. He's out here butt booty hole naked. And you tell him he's naked and he have a fit. Because he thinks he's dressed. He actually thinks he's intelligent, which he is not. He quotes all these numbers, and the numbers don't math. They say the math ain't mathing when he's having these conversations about the deficit and things like that. It's sad. Let's see. Diane types, I bet Stephen Colbert will reemerge elsewhere. Oh, no, he's good. I know he's good. Just the fact that he has 10 months of further great material on 47, and he said the gloves are off. The gloves are off. And I haven't seen Colbert in a while, but I'm going to support him. On this tour, as I call it, into next May of 2026. And yeah, he's good. In fact, someone had a rumor, which it did make me think. Because someone said Stephen Colbert and Rachel Maddow for MSNBC coming together. And it's trying to be a false story, but what if we ever do a what if moment, what if those two minds came together? Oh, man. Shut the game down. Everybody pack and go home. Go home and scratch your ass and get glad. It's you can't even compare those two. Them individually are bad as hell. You put those two minds together, oh my, I dare you go to YouTube and check out interviews when Rachel Maddow appeared on Stephen Colbert. Brilliant. Some of the most brilliant television I've ever seen. If those two came together, it's a lock. They put the game on lock. They really would. I love both of them. That would have been it. Hey, how you doing? Anova says, "Good afternoon, Base Chris and Base Nation," with 3 hearts there. Thank you so much. Of course, Diana's a good fan of yours. Diana was right here. She had typed it before Innova got on. So, of course, Innova and her brother Mark are the official chefs for BaseLine. So we're waiting for today's dinner menu. And I know Diana gets excited about that. So it's like, yeah, here we go. In fact, here's Diana. I was like, Innova, what's for dinner? Innova, your people await your typing. We all await with bated breath and salivating. If you're salivating, get yourself a napkin or something or a towel. Ah, tis good. Tis very, very good. So again, people coming on board. Omar says, "Good afternoon, Innova. What's for dinner? I'm hungry." Well, Omar's always hungry, so there you go. Let's see. I don't know who this is, so I'm gonna take a gamble and go for broke. Let's see. This is BaseLine. Who's this?
This is Dave.
Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, where are you calling from?
Denmark, South Carolina.
Okay. What do you want to talk about, Dave?
I just wanted to know if you like trains or railroads.
Why? Well, do you like them?
Yes.
Okay, so what's so special about trains and railroads?
I just like the way they work. I like to research the various different locomotives that ran on railroads and railroad-related history. It's pretty neat stuff.
How did you find this program?
I was just scrolling on YouTube and saw they had a phone number and figured I'd call it.
Okay, well, thank you for taking the time to call. Again, how did you get into trains and railroads?
Like I say, I like the history. Also, part was when I was born, there was a huge RSV outbreak, so me and my mom were quarantined for a few months. She got stir crazy in the house, would pack us a lunch, drive us down to the local train yard, and just sit there and we'd eat lunch watching the train switch.
I remember. I'm sorry. I remember when I was a kid, they were advertising, these trains for children, especially in the Christmas time, where you can take the trains and have it go around the Christmas tree at the base of it and things like that. I think it was a not Tyson, it was TY something at one point. And
Tycho?
then, yeah, there you go. Thank you, Tycho. Thank you so much.
Yep.
So, yeah,
I've got some Tycho stuff.
Okay, with the full switches, to switch off the tracks.
I've got a little bit of that. I don't really have a whole lot of room for setup at my place.
Okay.
But I just have a few model trains, and some of them were my dad's old Tycho stuff.
So no, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I think like anybody else, that when you get into a hobby or something that piques your interest, you keep on going. Like, do you commiserate with other people who like trains and railroads?
Yes, sir. I've got a few friends around the Midlands area of South Carolina that likes railroads. Whenever a rare locomotive comes up, we all rush into Columbia to see it. And of course, there's one guy who me and him have been trying to find photos of a local short line that was just north of Columbia that used steam locomotives until about 1970 or so.
Well, I'm telling you, there's always a history for everything. So, hey, I don't blame you. Sounds like fun.
It's loads of fun. What's very fun is just up the road from me, Amtrak comes through twice a day. And if it's late enough, it comes through during the daytime at 79 miles an hour. And it is fun when you go out and see it at that speed.
We know what's great about trains is that, like, if we go on the Amtrak, for example, you go on the Amtrak and you have a car, say you have a car to yourself with your family, and you look out the window and see all this great country from coast to coast. It really has a good feeling. You really realize that the world is big. Even where you live in the United States, it's big. So That's always pretty cool to do.
Oh yeah, it's very fun. I've gotten a roomette and had my mom, and my grandmother. We went down to Florida and back in a full weekend on Amtrak, which was fun.
Sounds like nice stuff.
Oh yeah, literally rode to the end of the line at Miami. Got on that new high-speed train from Miami to Orlando, and then got back on Amtrak to come back to South Carolina.
Now, do you get into other trains from other countries, say like Japan, how they're able to take that technology and just, change the game from just commuting?
I know a little bit about Japanese railroads. I mostly know about North American and Welsh narrow gauge railroads. The extent of my knowledge of the Japanese railroads is that the bullet train exists, and they run a slightly narrower gauge than most of the world.
Man, that's cool.
And also
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to step on you. Go ahead. Please continue.
Oh, no, I just remember there was that one funny locomotive that they built just after World War II. Freight traffic went down, but passenger traffic went up. So they got the boilers of freight locomotives and put them on newly built passenger locomotive chassis. That's the only other thing I know from Japan.
That's interesting. We didn't talk about that on this program. So, look, this has been more than enlightening. I'm glad you found the program. Hope you get a chance to call back again, Dave. But this has been very cool.
Yeah, I've got an insane amount of stuff. I mean, I'm sitting here. I've got a book full of old railroad documents from. I think the earliest is 1877. The latest is 1962-ish. Just one of Mom and Dad's friends' uncle worked for the New York Central Railroad, and for my 18th birthday, he gives me this big box full of railroad books.
Right.
And we were up there a few weeks ago, and he gives me 2 more boxes full of railroad books that I'm still going through. Yeah, railroad history is fun if you get the chance to look into it. There's some very funny stories out there.
I gotta look into it. This is something different. Dave, I gotta move on, but thank you for taking the time for being the first caller, and hope we call back again. I'm on every Friday between I'm on from 5 a.m. Eastern. I'm not shit. Not 5 a.m. 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
Eastern, and then 4 p.m. Central. So whatever your time zone is, call back.
All right, I'll give you a call next week.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Dave. Have a good weekend.
You're welcome. You have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye. I thought it was going to be a crank caller at first. I didn't know if he was or not, but he sounds legit and definitely in the train. So for what it's worth, Dave, thank you so much for being the first time call. I'm impressed that he went through, of course, YouTube and stumbled upon this program. So once again, hopefully the show can grow. Once again, thank you, Dave. Looking forward to hearing from you next week about trains or anything else is on your mind. That's different. Okay, I go along with that. Like I said, it's Free Your Mind Friday, so we don't judge here. Let's see. Diane Tice, remember the Chattanooga Choo Choo? I had that as a kid. I see all these memories about trains. And I still have my dad's, the Lionel train set he played with from the 1940s. Man, that's a collector's item. My dad loved trains too, Diane Tice, to Annabelle. Let's see. So we got to hear Omar. I remember every time my mom and I be going to Detroit on a train, I get something to eat in the snack bar, and I relax and go to sleep, and with the headphones on, listening to music on the train. Yeah, something about the train. I said that when the time is right, and I get some more money, and I want to go and visit my family in Arizona. My daughter Mattia, her husband Edward, and my 2 grandchildren, Emery and Everly. I would love to get on the train. It would take me a couple of days, but I don't do well with the flying stuff. I really don't. I hate flying. I don't fly a lot, but when I do, I'm having a fit. The last time I flew on a plane was with my mom, and we went to Arizona for Mattia's graduation from nursing school. At the time, her and ever living in Phoenix. They have since moved to a suburb outside of Phoenix now, to a home to branch out, of course, with the kids. And my oldest daughter, Brianni, living with them now. But yeah, I got on a plane for that. And yeah, that was, yeah. It took us 3 hours back and forth, but my hands swell up and I'm on this, it's tight ass seat. And yeah, I was bigger then. And that's when I was, what, 378. I'm 331 now. But then I was bigums, still bigums, but I'm losing weight. So in these seats, and it's uncomfortable. I think we're on Southwest Airlines, and I dread getting on the plane. So if I have my druthers, I'd rather take the train. The plane, nothing wrong with that, but yeah, I go with the train. So I'd like to make that happen. Let's see. My mom and I went on a crime mystery train party. Okay, that's cool. That's pretty creative. I've heard about that. Let's see. The menu for tonight: steamed hot dogs with grilled onions, mustard, spicy dill pickles with buns, homemade French fries, and homemade chocolate milkshakes. Oh man, damn, y'all get down. What was it? Gus had typed before when I was talking about what's on the menu. He's gonna say hot dogs and beans. Well, you got half of it right with the hot dogs, not the hot dogs and pork and beans coming together. This is all together separate again. Steamed hot dogs with grilled onions, mustard, spicy dill pickles with buns, homemade French fries, and homemade chocolate milkshakes. Boy, y'all get down. Okay, I ain't mad at you. And thank you for sharing. And again, Chef Innova and her brother, Chef Mark, the official chefs here on BaseLine. I get down with that. And pretty much anything they put down, I get down with. So there you go. Oh boy. Yeah, that whole train conversation, that's different. And still I thought he was kind of suspect. But maybe he's not. Time will tell. Again, thank you, Dave. And once again, it sparked conversation in the comment section there. I talked about trains and everything else. I had one train, and it got to the point where I don't think it worked anymore from the switch. So I just one train. So when we would have the Christmas decorations go up in the house, Christmas tree, obviously, and I put the train track around the tree. That's why I mentioned before in the conversation with Dave, and did that. And I think that was pretty cool. Then at one point it stopped. So I just had it there just for show. It didn't move and didn't go nowhere. It was just, I was here type of thing. And it stayed there for a while, and there you go. So yeah, not too shabby. Again, I always like interesting things, something new, something different. So in the history of the show, we've never talked about trains, not that I can remember. From that standpoint, somebody calling in and talking about trains and everything else, how much he likes it, and even hanging around other people and individual groups. They got the 3 hearts there. Thank you, Annabelle. Absolutely. Oh man. So let's see what else we got here. So I mentioned before about the Grim Reaper being busy. And so let me get the story here. And I'm getting the story. Happy birthday to my nephew Caleb. He turned 14 yesterday. 14. Yeah, 14, and he'll be a freshman at Kenwood Academy in the fall. Happy birthday, young sir. Train travel is cheaper than airfare, as Gus types. Yeah, I go along with that, absolutely. I'll once again, let me get the fundage. I'm on the train. Let's see. So again, talk amongst yourselves, or continue to type in the comment section there, or call in. Let's see. Yeah, the whole thing with traveling, I don't knock anybody that could do planes. And the thing about it was, for me, was I haven't been on the plane at that time of year. So for example, the last time I was on the plane prior to going to Arizona for Matia, that was in the, let's see, mid 2000s or so. Prior to that, I've been on the plane since I was a child, like between 11 and 12. Yeah, something like that, or maybe even younger. And that's been on because we went to the Bahamas that time, and that was about it. I don't remember being on there. Oh, shit. Jazz musician Chuck Mangione, who had one of the biggest pop jazz instrumental crossovers hits of all time with "Feels So Good" in the 1970s, died Tuesday at the age of 84. The death was reported by multiple news outlets outside of his native Rochester, New York. The city's WROC TV reported from the funeral home there, said that the musician died in his sleep at his home on Tuesday. The flugelhorn and trumpet player won 2 Grammys out of 14 nominations in a career that spanned 30 albums. Beyond his success in music, the musician was also familiar to millions for his recurring role of playing himself on an animated series, King of the Hill. I remember that. So again, all of us who are in a certain age range, I remember that song like it was yesterday, and you hear it on the radio and you see it advertised in that iconic picture of Chuck Mangione holding his flugelhorn, and just once again, great icon. He is the executive director of crisis intervention / victim advocate at Solutions and Resources. He has committed his life to provide immediate comfort, aid, assist families, individuals, and communities in the wake of violence and or traumatic events. The man who continues to knock Chicago down. Please welcome back to BaseLine, Pastor Donovan Price. How you doing, Pastor? And welcome back.
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Where are you, sir?
My office for a change.
Nice. Okay. Where's your office located? Unless you're on the secret location, man.
Right. I'm up under right next to and make a left.
There you go. You hear that, everybody?
Right. 87th, right in between Cottage Grove and right across from the rink, basically.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha. Now, weren't you in Hyde Park at one point?
Yeah, I was in Hyde Park at one point. I was on 95th Street at another point.
Oh, because you've been moving around, I see.
Yeah, I'll be moving again from this one.
Okay.
in August. That's all right. We'll find a home.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you need a home, Doc, for what you do. So again, the floor is yours. Go right ahead.
Well, July to date, today being July 25th, as the month rolls around, shot and killed 34, shot and wounded 180, for a total shot of 214 for the month, with 39 homicides. The week in progress, shot and killed 2, shot and wounded 31, total shot this week 33, with 2 homicides, which we'll talk about in a second. Bringing the year to date of shot and killed of 200, shot and wounded 857, total shot 1,057, with I think 242 homicides.
We always talk about, of course, the number and total deaths as we see the summer going into August, as you know, the hottest time before we know it's going to be. It's hot now, but we're about to approach hell hot in August. So we had a conversation before, because at one time ago, the violent crime rate will go down in the wintertime, but we've seen that has changed over time, where it doesn't matter what time of year it is. Do you think, from your perspective, covering this for a while, that when it comes to a particular climate, say the heat, and people are hot and bothered, and people don't need places to cool off, or you combine whatever they're going through emotionally, that has a toll as well?
Well, I don't think as much of a toll as people think. I think the change in the numbers is as a result of mass shootings or mass gatherings. Even the fact that folks get together, folks stand outside. Even if they're going into a venue, they're outside for a while afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course the parties that are outside wherever the party's supposed to be, the park meetings or whatever the case may be. I think that causes the summer numbers to rise more than the fact that it's hot out.
Right. No, you're right. And again, people want to, like when you look at, say, for example, art imitating life and vice versa, Do the Right Thing, one of Spike Lee's masterpieces. And it was a very hot day that day in Bed-Stuy, and temperature flowing and then things like that. And sometimes I think it may have something to do with it, but that could be 24/7. Just happened to be there in that summertime in that place. And even though I've seen the movie like most, I know the outcome like most, I can never get through what happened to Radio Raheem. It's like I'm watching for the first time, but I've seen it before. It's kind of like it's unnerving because it continues on now. And again, you look at how everything was put together for that movie, but just the fact that Radio Raheem could be any black man or any black person.
Yeah, that part of that movie, that definitely is the that point in the movie, despite all the levity and all of that, when it gets real.
Yes.
And but if you think about it, the deepness of that moment compared to the entire movie, it's not out of place. It wasn't it wasn't a like, wow, and then there was that, a day like that, times like that, the tensions that may be smaller tensions, whether it's interpersonal relationships like Mookie and his girl arguing,
right?
Rosie Perez to bugging out, and the one brother from one of Sal's sons,
yeah,
their relationship, the racial relationships, bugging out, and homeboy who lived down the street there.
Right.
And we do have to take a moment to give some shout out to Bugging Out for the award, the Do the Right Thing award for best use of career after that movie, because he is a legend now.
Yes, he is.
And never spent a moment not working.
Giancarlo Esposito. Hats off to that brother. If I'm ever blessed and fortunate, there's two people I want to meet and interview if I could, but just to meet them, two people. Giancarlo Esposito and the rapper Rakim. Now, the reason I mentioned these two in particular was because when I was back in college, I took a class called Broadcast Speech Technique. And so our instructor, Professor Sanders, made sure that everything we typed or wrote out was all in phonetics. We couldn't use the words, we had to use phonetics to appreciate and get to know the power of words. So everything we typed out and written was phonetics. So for our midterm and final, we were able to do a 5-minute soliloquy using a scene from a movie, a play, a newspaper article, a poem. It didn't matter as long as you did that, got it approved by the professor, and he recited in front of the class. So for my midterm, I recited the scene from from School Days when my man was talking to Dap, and he was like, "You talk more shit than a little bit." Right. Like you mother Africa. That whole line.
Yeah.
That whole scene. So I got an A on that from doing that scene. And then for the final, I did Follow the Leader by Airbnb Rakim. And when I had that tape, so back then we had cassette tapes, and I had to replay it back and forth so much I had to write it down and get the cadence. All the printing went off the cassette, because every time you use it, all the black went off of it. So it became this white cassette. I kept going back and forth on it, and I finally did that, recited in front of the class. I got an A++
right
on that. So if I ever meet these two brothers, man, I thank them for helping me pass broadcast speech technique, Doc.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But like I said, like that segment with Radio Raheem, it just showed it's a movie about relationships.
Yes.
And so it just showed one level of relationship, you know. I think the way it built up slowly to that, you know, how in a sense, and that now this is one of those, like, I went to one of these schools that would take movies like that and we'd have to write something deep about this scene or that scene,
right?
Get some book and be like, well, what do you think the writer was saying? And we come up with a bunch of stuff that the writer probably didn't think of all that, but we had to come up with some deep stuff,
right?
And I think to a certain degree, Radio Raheem and his radio symbolized something, because every time he came around, it was he broke up the scene.
Correct.
Whether it was Sal's place or even just the brothers bugging out and them standing on the street talking when Radio Raheem came around, it was all about him.
Yes, mad respect for him.
And then with Sal and the batteries, and then ultimately the police, the struggle between that big giant Caucasian police officer and Radio Raheem.
Yes.
And such, and the music, silencing the music. So I mean, it's all stuff like that we need now. We need to sit around and have some discussions on that.
Yes.
Because you remember when Spike Lee's movies would come out, and a lot of times, especially the first one from She's Got to Have It onward, they would have discussion groups.
Oh yes.
And throughout the city.
Right.
And that's something that I think we needed, along with, I know a discussion group that I would like to see as well is apropos for this week is the Cosby Show.
Yes.
Because for the Cosby Show, when they stopped showing it for a long time, blah blah blah, for their own, for whatever reason. Then I remember when it came back, and I hadn't seen it in years.
Yes.
And years, and I watched it, and it almost brought me to tears, because doing what I do and seeing what I do, to know that all that came to mind was, we need this so much right now. From the calming jazz music that went from one scene to another, the bumpers, that little saxophone or whatever that would play, and the bumper, the art on the wall, to the probably most well-developed characters in broadcast history.
I agree.
The children and and the children and the levels of adulthood that the children dealt with.
Yes.
The teachers came to the parents' house, and the parents and the grandparents and folks that the parents had gone to school with. And they all had interactions with the kids. And
you're seeing the family interact with other members, like the grandparents and other extended family members, mostly the grandparents from either side of Cliff's family and Claire's family. What I thought was also pretty cool, Earl Hyman, who played Cliff's father, I thought was brilliant, because people probably don't know his background. Earl Hyman is on stage recorded as the first person to play Walter Lee Younger for Raising the Sun, before Sidney Poitier did it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic actor. Yeah.
Definitely. And then Joe, the singer, Joe Williams. And then what's it? Not Dionne Warwick, but who was the singer? Nancy Wilson. Nancy Wilson. I mean, just the number of folks.
Yes. Ruth Carter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the kids would come over, and it'd be like 5. When Rudy's friends would come over,
yes,
it'd be like the Rainbow Coalition. It'd be
it was. It was
from every nationality, and then they ran into every situation. You know what I'm saying? And they, of course, the biggest and baddest of one interaction being the Theo and Cliff conversation with the earring.
That's right. I like when you want to try to lean back to see his ear. Right.
That's in comparison to Harpo Marx and them with the hands in the mirror.
Right.
That's
good analogy. Yes.
Online with that, and then my favorite part about that is when Theo gives that beautiful speech, and the crowd starts to clap, and Bill says, "That's the stupidest thing." The dumbest.
That was the first episode. Right.
And it's almost like Bill knew he was gonna get the crowd too.
Right. It was a beautiful setup.
Yeah, the crowd was set up,
Right.
Like I can imagine you in the middle of the
right. Yeah.
I'm just like, oh yeah. But just different other things, and every character, there was interaction. I love that with every character. The little girl talked fast, or when they came down and thought they were a singing group, the little girls, and Claire went ballistic on how they were dressed. And then moving on and on through the generations, the older ones.
Yes, and it was a fantastic show. One of the, and it also showed just real people. Going back to Cliff's character being a doctor, here he is eating these fat ass hoagie sandwiches and potato chips.
Oh yeah.
And one episode he was getting the physical. The one who played his friend and doctor was John Amos.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's on the treadmill, and he was like, "Cliff, you're a doctor. You know better. You shouldn't be eating this stuff, man."
Right. When Cliff was trying to get the stress test.
Yes.
And then I don't think that there's a barbecue that I go to that I don't ask for a double bacon burger dog.
Thank you. That's how you get down. One episode I liked that was dedicated to the kids was the Muppets that come on, and he ate this hoagie sandwiches, and hoagie sandwich went to sleep. It was a nightmare.
He went to sleep, had a dream.
Right, he had a dream. So he was talking to the sandwich. It was like, the sandwich disagreed with you. No, it didn't. Yes, it did. No, it didn't. Man.
That was incredible, and I mean, this week was a rough week on celebrities, boy.
Yo, we just talked about that, man. The Grim Reaper's been reaping.
Yeah, man. Because I always text my family when because they're at work, and I get, of course, all the news flashes,
right?
And so I never text 2-3 in a day.
This is out of the ordinary.
Yeah, because it was rough with Theo, and very personal.
Yeah, it was.
And then it was then Ozzy
Osbourne. Yep.
And then of course I think the funny part for me was with you all were just talking about what's my man with the horn?
Chuck Mangione.
Chuck Mangione, because I don't care what nobody says. Everybody said Chuck Mangione was playing the trumpet when he came out with that song. And then we know nobody had heard of no flugelhorn.
Nobody.
He introduced the world to an instrument, a whole instrument, because I know I said it was a trumpet, and then,
it was a trumpet, right?
Then I saw an interview with him, and he corrected everybody, and it shows that that song was on the radio
all the time,
on black radio.
Yes, it was.
Like it was nothing. Like it was like Gladys Knight and the Pimps made it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, My childhood radio was WJPC, with Tom Joyner and LaDonna Tittle
Yep.
in the middle. And
right, BBD Banana in the restaurant, right?
BBD, I ain't heard that.
Yeah, Doc.
BBD Banana and somebody who became a friend of mine just by me calling in her show as a little boy. I don't remember her name. Seems like it was Lisa something. But just that, I knew exactly when to call. I know we talking about everything right now. It's all right.
Of course, it's all right.
I used to know when to call LaDonna Tittle's show to win.
Yes.
I would call and the phone would ring for about 15, 20 minutes. She would announce that there was a contest and call it number 7. And she'd pick up. I literally had to wait the 30 days that you couldn't win for 30 days.
Right. Yeah.
I had it circled on the calendar, and I would win every 30 days.
You timed it out.
Yeah.
You cracked the code.
I won Spinner's album one time.
Okay.
I won. I don't know. I won all kinds. I was good at winning on the radio.
Yeah. Nice.
I had my WGCI card.
Oh, look at you, man.
WGCI card.
I remember those. I never had one, but I remember those. In fact, go ahead.
I don't know what the hell I did with it, what you could do with it. No, discounts in certain places.
Okay.
That was during the triple.that-I promotion,
GCI had triple.that-I, right?
Yeah. But all of these things, this week, losing these different people just kind of reminded me of all those things. And then, like yourself, I know you probably are the same way. When you hear certain songs like an Ozzy song or Chuck Gioni and such, you think of what radio station you were on when that song came out and where you were playing. And the only time I really played Black Sabbath level stuff, I was on Quigley South's radio station, WQPS. And I had a show and I'd have to play a little bit of everything. So I played me some Black Sabbath. I played me some REO Speedwagon, some AC/DC,
AC/DC,
yes. Farewell to Kings was one of those albums, and those times. Then when I went on, I played LUW, Loyola's radio station. WATN and WIUS at Western, their radio stations, WIU, Northwestern's radio station.
Okay, look at you. And
then, of course, working with, Doug Banks and Company with GCI. But radio and music was my life. And so,
yes,
and so now to see all these people dying away like this is it has a deeper level. But I listened to Sirius Satellite 80s on 8 and Mark Goodman, the VJ from MTV.
I used to work with Mark at one point. Yes,
that man literally has the backstory to every record he played, off the chain. Yeah. And I live for trivia, music trivia. So his backstory is of, how Walk Like an Egyptian was written, how this was done, what was going on in the studio, how Van Halen was the janitor for his cousin who owned the studio.
I didn't know that. Man,
yeah, Paper Studio. His cousin did and hired him as the janitor.
Amazing.
And he moved up and such, man.
That is great. I had to reach, now you think about it, I had to reach out to Mark Goodman. So Mark Goodman used to be here in Chicago. Mark Goodman had a game show on Channel 9. And while he was doing that, he was trying to reinvent himself as a talk show host. So I used to produce him when he did shows on WLS-FM. And we got a chance to know each other pretty well. And of course, you'll use the moniker, of course, that he was one of the first MTV VJs and everything else. And by this time, he had filled out a little bit, got a muscular build, and got his hair cut. His hair used to be long and stuff like that. So yeah, you're right. When we would have downtime, off mic, he had these wonderful stories about all these different people. Even then, so just as like you're bringing it up, I might have to reach out to him. I don't know if he remembers me or not. It's been a long time, but I would love to get him on here.
He probably will, because that man's mind is no joke.
Yo, no, he's serious. Yeah.
And so he it's great listening to him every day.
Mm-hmm.
He had walk like an Egyptian was written by a dude who was on a ferry. Ferry going I forget, maybe New York has a lot of those ferries, and it got stormy while they were on the ferry, and so the people trying to walk on the ferry.
Oh my God! Okay.
One place to the other on the ferry, he's looking at him, and he said they reminded him of those Egyptian pictures.
That's deep, man.
And he wrote it right then, "Walk like an Egyptian." And the stuff they said is like how her album wasn't working. They were putting out singles and it wasn't going anywhere. And somebody use this song, and they're like, nah. She's like, nah. And they're like, we gonna use this song,
right?
And then it blows up for her, like a virgin. And just the stories, that old school music industry, man.
Yes.
Because I miss hanging out in program directors' offices. They always had these bomb speakers. Mm-hmm. Program directors had them and could blast them at any moment in the office.
Right.
Like, they come in here. I remember when I forget who it was. It's GCI, but I forget who was there. Byron or Brian. Maybe it's Brian something. Mm-hmm. And he played Wild Wild West.
Kool Moe Dee?
No, the one with Will Smith and Sister.
Oh, you're about that version. Okay, right.
Yeah,
okay.
And I was just blown away. They used that Stevie Wonder.
That Stevie Wonder hook, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember that blast thing.
And he went and Will had him on that single. He went back and got Kool Moe Dee to do the hook, Wild Wild West, right?
Yeah. They kept it real,
They did. That was I like the song. I was talking to Mary Datcher at one point, a media person. She thought it was corny. I was like, Mary, it can't be that corny, man. You go back and get even. I think it was the Grammys or AMAs, whatever it was, and they all performed.
Yeah, they all performed it. Yeah.
And had Stevie Wonder at the end. That ain't corny, Doc. I'm sorry. That's big time, man.
That was bang, and it was amazing, and I remember going out and hanging with the Motown crew with Gerald Busby and those guys. When the records were huge, and Donnie Ienner and Tommy Mottola, at Sony in New York, and Wendy Williams on the radio there, that you wanted your artist you needed your artist. No, you needed your artist to do Wendy's show, but you knew you was walking on eggshells because that could go left at any moment.
Left, slantways, sideways. I'll tell you, when Wendy was on the radio, she was deep. Real quick, what's up, Ken Wallington says, hello, gentlemen, Professor Bass and Pastor Donovan and friends. Thank you. How you doing, Ken? Thank you for being here as we commiserate. We're all over the board right now, which I love, so there's nothing wrong with that. You have mentioned about music, and no matter what format it is, because some people want to put you in the box, okay, you're black, you gotta listen to R&B. That's bullshit. You listen to what you like. And so whatever you like, I just mentioned the reference going back to AC/DC. One of my favorite songs they ever did was Dirty D's Done Dirt Cheap.
Dirt Cheap, Dirty D's and the Done Dirt.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. You get down with stuff like that. So I don't like people trying to put somebody in the box, but you know what you like. If it's good music, it's good music no matter what format it is, no matter what genre it is. You like what you like.
We were open back then. I mean, because we black high school kids went through the punk out era. Well, it was just, black music was second.
Yeah, look, I was part of, like you, I was part of the punk out era, man. You had the ripped shirts and everything, and the pins and everything else, the safety pins, stuff like that, ripped jeans and stuff like that. So I remember the first time I ever heard Herb Kent was playing punk out music.
Right.
That's the first I knew of Herb Kemp. I never heard him perform before. He was punk out music, like your crazy people. All the stuff he did before on View and other stations, he just brought it over to this punk out station I listen to. So all that music you talking about, punk out going back to like the Rock Lobster by the B-52s. Right? Yeah, Doc.
Yeah, Love Shack.
That's right. There you go. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I went to Quigley South, and my constituents, my homies, my friends were white guys mostly.
Uh-huh.
And then by me being radio, because it was me and Harry Lennox on the show.
I didn't know that. Okay.
We had our radio show.
Got it.
And so we would we have to play everything for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I'd have to play Iron Maiden and and that was at the time when like Mr. Roboto came out, or you had the chill white music, which always, if you made some chill kind of whitish, almost folkish type music, then you had the chance of it crossing over. Even if you made chill rock music, white music, if it slowed it down and chill, had a big chance of black radio jumping on it.
Right.
Because that's how Queen came out with Another One Bites the Dust. It had that groove.
Yeah.
That gave it black radio. Boss Skaggs and Lowdown.
Lowdown, right.
That thing. A folk music legend, and I don't know, this might be another one of these things I say and it blows your mind, but you might be on it too. I'm talking about Bella and the Flecktones level folk music.
Okay.
Was Steely Dan. Steely Dan played like rock folk stuff, and then crossed over and killed black music with Asia.
See, now you're tapping into some shit. The Steely Dan, to me, so they're with the Beatles. They're that type of type flight type of group. One of my favorite tunes by them is "Time Out of Mind." Time Out of Mind. On that song, you got, of course, Steely Dan there. They got them. Then in the background, Michael McDonald is singing background with Patty Austin.
Michael McDonald's a bad. That's the most underrated white boy there
ever.
Because he was on everybody's stuff.
Yes. And not only them were on the album, Mark Knopfler, who was the frontman guitarist for Dire Straits, played guitar on that single, on that cut.
Yeah.
Man, they had everybody. I dare everybody to, I mean, that's probably one of the baddest sessions I ever listened to. Time Out of Mind. You go online and see who's on it, it will blow your mind.
Or the song that Vanilla Ice was dumb enough to sample. If you're gonna sample a song, don't make it by. It's a duet between David Bowie and Queen frontman
Freddie Mercury.
It's a duet between
Under Pressure. Under Pressure.
Why would you sample something that is probably one of the biggest, collaborations, which happened as a result of them, the two bands, David Bowie's group and Queen, went in together and bought a studio.
I didn't know that. Okay.
And the only thing positive to come out of that collaboration was that record. Because they, two sets of egos like that, it didn't work well at all. But one day, just around the studio, decided to do Under Pressure, and that's how that record came out.
Oh man, let me go to the comment section real quick. People want to come on board with their comments. Let's see. So Omar, let's see where you are. There you go. Hello, Pastor Price. Nice shirt you got on today.
Very, very summary.
He'll compliment your shirt. He got me in the first hour, man. So I got the Black Power. Shirt. Yeah, Doc.
I can't wear that.
I know. I'll wear it for us. Okay.
There we go.
I got you, Doc. What's up, Walter Ken? Stub my toe, brother. I know. This is the one. Give him the right greeting, because you know what this is. Walter, I've known for a while. In fact, Walter, I met him when I was teaching. We both were teaching at Illinois Media School. So very good brother, coming from time to time. And he tries to tell me to start the show over, but I never do. So it's just not going to happen. Let's see real quick. Oh, Jed, okay. Asia, Moody Blues. Yeah, man.
Really? Mm-hmm.
That whole album is bad, man. Steely Dan again is just great. Whatever they touched, man, it was just gold.
And then he step off on the side and make like Hey 19.
Oh man, that's
and
tight.
Stuff like that. That was just him in between projects.
Right.
And I went to see him at Ravinia maybe 3 years ago. 4
Okay.
times, and you'd have thought he put on the record.
He sounds just like the record.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was just incredible. And he had like groups like Bella and the Flecktones were his band.
Get out of here, Doc.
Because they played before. The two bands played before was straight folk bands. And then his group was like Smoker B. His group was like a all-star, folk band, all-star band.
Man, that's deep.
And he went into and played the entire Asia album, played stuff like Hey 19, Billy Don't Lose That Number. All of that stuff,
Right.
And you had these musical monsters. Michael McDonald,
yes,
changed the direction of the Doobie Brothers.
He did
making stuff like that. He chilled he turned their whole temperature down.
He did.
And
they did a 180.
Mm-hmm.
2 trains running, and when Michael McDonald became the lead, it just took on a whole 180. In fact, they made an appearance on the episode of What's Happening back in the day.
Absolutely, they sure did.
Yep.
They sure did. And it was just you had these monstrous talented people. You had Elton. The first time I saw Elton was on the movie Tommy.
Yes.
About the autistic young
man.
Yeah. And
Roger Daltrey and them, yeah.
And so in the shoes.
All them that deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball.
Yeah.
Right.
That was my first time seeing Elton John. And
Elton John, yes.
He slowed down his stuff or had a slowish song, a lower tempo, and it was Benny and the Jets. And black music, once again, was like, there we go, because we took the Benny and Jet.
We sure did.
Man, did we. That first chord, blink, that's all you needed. You just
It was like okay. It's like if I don't know. I think they revamped it. Name That Tune. If you had named that tune with that, all right. Here's your one note.
Yes.
Elton John. Right. You are correct. Right.
Yeah. I'm a master at that game. We used to play that game all the time with family and friends.
I always love that.
King of Name That Tune.
Yeah, it was
I've never lost.
Oh, I believe you. It was like, okay, so when it came out back in the day, it was I believe it was syndicated. And so it was syndicated. Jim Lang, who was the host of what was that show? The Dating Game.
Uh-huh.
Not the Dating Game, not the other one. It was the other one they did. God damn it. Hold on a second. So it wasn't dating. Okay, take that back. I tell everybody, the secret to the problem of youth, don't get old.
Right.
Okay, so what I'm trying to think of his name. So he, meaning Jim Lang, had done this program, then he went on to do Name That Tune. So Name That Tune was in syndication, and before that, he was doing these other game shows. But man, that whole thing was, all right, here's the song. Like, we got the song here, Battle for the Notes. Hey, Fred, I can get this song in 6 notes, and they go back and forth to bid, as you know, because you played it.
Yeah.
But that one note, you a bad mother hubber. You do it on one note, man. It's like, all right, here's your one note, and then bam.
I could rock it, man. And just the role that music played, from your what's my man, Rick James.
Yes.
and everything talking about marijuana, but we ain't know.
I thought we were talking about a woman.
We thought Mary Jane was real.
Right.
Then the Mary Jane girls, we thought.
Yep.
I mean, these powerhouse talents. I don't think anybody knew what we had in Prince till Purple Rain came out. And we actually, I mean, we loved him before then, but I don't think anybody knew the level.
I agree.
I to this day, I still learn new stuff about Prince's level.
Oh, look, next Wednesday, I'm gonna have on a guest on CBI. His name is Charles Smoot, and Charles Smoot, I've known since high school. He went to Whitney and I went to Kenwood, and I'm gonna have him on to interview him. But after I do the interview part within the hour, his knowledge of Prince is through the roof. So all of you out there who are fans of Prince, continue to follow the Purple One. You don't want to miss the show next Wednesday. This dude is incredible. He knows everything about Prince. He has music that Prince has not ever been released.
Yeah, my buddy does.
Yeah.
I go. My buddy has a store. I go in his store. He playing, Prince sound checks.
See, that's deep. That's deep. Because you go online, you're like, even now, or Spotify or YouTube, it's Prince, for example, singing Sex Shooter. It's like what they call the dummy lyrics. So it's a dummy version. So you give it to the artist where they're going to sing. It was really for Vanity Six, but of course she left and became a part of Apollonia Six's repertoire. And then you hear him singing Jungle Love that he gave, of course, to The Time. So all these, and it's funny because it's him being him at the same time he's in character because he helped Morris Day become that character of, I'm cool and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny to see him go back and forth, Jerome and stuff like that. And so, but it's Prince doing it. So going back real quick about the dating game. It was a dating game back in the 60s hosted by Jim Lang. And then Jim Lang went on to do Name That Tune later on. So there you go. That's the session. But yeah, hopefully if anybody has time, next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, Charles Smoot, he's going to get into deep with Prince. And I'm looking forward to having him on. Just his arcane knowledge of Prince is amazing.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and then, when I think back to the music, of course, WJPC was life for me. But to each side of WJPC, literally on the dial, on one side you had WLS,
right,
with Uncle Lair.
Little Tommy, little snot-nosed Tommy.
You know what I'm saying? And which we dabbled in every now and then. There was no black kids that didn't jump over and check out little Larry, Adam stories.
I used to love that, man. Oh, right. All right, little chillins, it's time for animal stories. What you got there, Uncle Larry? Well, these two raccoons were getting it on in a garbage can. I mean, it was great theater. It was fantastic. And the fact you talk about all this radio timeline, back in the day, and I'm not knocking it now, but it has changed, obviously. Back in the day, the AM and FM dials, they were rocking it. You talk about high-level talent doing it in 3D. That's what drew me to radio, the magic of it, and how they were able to go from back and forth to one dial to the other and hear these eclectic personalities just do, whether it was music or talk. They were just dynamic.
It was dynamic, something we need, man. We got to get out. You got to sit down and get some minds together, and we do a show, like the time we did the show with the radio folks.
Exactly.
Me and Bonnie Bouchon and everybody.
Yes.
And just do a show like this, and we talk about radio versus its sociological implications.
I totally agree.
And do it. I got to run. And but man. I thank you for this, and
thank you.
Back to the city of Chicago, but we had to trip out for a second.
Oh man, that's what makes it great. Real quick before you take off, congratulations on the recent DCLA award you got.
Thank you
from the FCC. I'm not FCC, but the FBI Community Award.
Yes, from the Department of Justice director, FBI director. It's a great award. It's great for me. It makes gives me a vote of confidence.
Yes,
and everything. And it's a blessing, and it's a blessing with which I can bless some more folks.
Absolutely. Pastor Donovan Price, thank you for this. I'm glad we got a chance to go across the board, just go off board everything, as a pivot to what you do on a regular basis. Again, for more information about you, where can people find you at, sir?
Definitely social media, all over Facebook there, Pastor Donovan Price, or just Donovan Price, and then Twitter as well. And I'm going to find a way to integrate Instagram, but right now just Facebook and Twitter. Social media, also the website, www.solutionsandresources.org.
Always a pleasure, and I'm glad we got a chance to chop a little more and go into different topics about radio and music. Man, we got to do more often. Now, we'll take your cue because you're the second person that I had a conversation with about having a similar, like a radio or programmer's spectrum on here or on CBI, whatever, make it special. I'll definitely work on that. So thank you so much. Thank you for what you continue to do, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right. God bless you. Bye-bye.
All right. God bless you. Take care, brother. Dr. Donovan Price, I call him Dr. but Pastor Donovan Price joins us every second hour here on BaseLine. Running a little bit overtime, but yeah, we had to for that. When we get a chance to, and I would say go off script and then go into topics like that, it's fun. It really is, and I know he does a lot on for what he does, and it's nice to just get off of that and go into other things. So yeah, that was cool, the gang. Let's see what you got here, Walter. Michael McDonald actually played on George Benson's On Broadway live version. Also, I didn't know that. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, we talked about Michael McDonald just now. Just maybe I think he's right. It's still underrated. That's a bad white boy, man. I'm telling you. And again, for him to change the trajectory of how the group, the Doobie Brothers, were, because I remember watching. I think it was a documentary, and some of the band members, like, they were like, why we're singing these type of songs? We Doobie, we get high and weed and stuff like that, and 2 Trains running and songs, and all of a sudden, you're doing Take It to the Streets. Yeah, as a band member, you don't know what direction you're going into, but yeah, when Michael McDonald was doing that on his own, yeah, changed the game. So let's see, what else we're going to talk about before we get out of here. Interesting footnote. So if you follow sports, you probably know a guy named Dan Patrick. So Dan Patrick used to be on ESPN for years on the anchor desk. In fact, he used to be paired up with Keith Olbermann back in the day, depending on how far you go back with ESPN. So he eventually left the mothership and then was able to do his own thing. Like, you see me doing this, he's doing that with his thing on NBC Sports. You catch him on the TV side of that. The Dan Patrick Show is obviously always on radio, also through Fox Sports 1 Radio, Fox Sports Radio. Catch, of course, on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from. And it's a very good show. So I said all that to say that he was being interviewed recently, me and Dan Patrick, and he said that he turned down the host to host The Price is Right. He turned it down flat. And they approached him. He didn't go for the position. They called him and said that we think that you will be a great successor to Bob Barker. We talked to Bob. Bob signed off on it. And we wanted to do something with you for you to come in and become the next host of The Price is Right. And he turned it down cold. And then I think he was working for NBC Sports. I think wherever he was working at, they told him, "Well, tell you what, we'll fly out. We'll build a set around you to see how you look with the set. The set of The Price is Right. We're going to build a set around you." Think about that. And then you have Bob Barker, legendary Bob Barker, signing off on that. So he asked them how much it's going to cost, to host it. And then the guy on the phone said, "Well, we'll tell you if you take the job." So, of course, he's playing around with them. But the person asked him, why didn't he take it? He's like, and I'm paraphrasing what Dan said. He said pretty much he was still in sports mode. He didn't think about himself hosting it. I followed Dan Patrick for years, and you may catch him in a few Adam Sandler movies, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. That's my boy. He's been in a few of them. Him and his producing staff, who he calls the Danettes. So it's like Dan and the Danettes, and they also appeared in the movies with him, with Adam Sandler. I've not seen. I'll probably check it out after the show. Happy Gilmore 2 is now on Netflix, so I bet you dime to a donut that he's in that, meaning Dan Patrick. He's been in a lot of movies that Adam Sandler obviously likes him. Obviously, has him on as a role in pretty much a lot of his movies. Go check, IMDb and stuff like that, or DB, whatever. Go online, check it out for yourself. But I would be kicking myself if that was me. First of all, if it was me, I would say hell yes. And again, I give him the standard 48, 72 hours to think about it. But in my mind, I'm always saying yes, because that's the iconic show. You're taking it over from a legend, and now it's time for you to not follow in the footsteps of the legend, to put on your own pairs of shoes and start walking to create your own path. Because he's incredibly witty, thinks on his feet, which is probably what they saw him anyway, to approach him with it. And I believe Drew Carey, of course, got the gig. Ironically, it's about the whole thing about Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler is a EP for The Price is Right. He produces The Price is Right. Go check it out for yourself in the end credits. Remember in Happy Gilmore, his character had a fight with Bob Barker on the greens. The price is wrong, Bobby, and then he ought to do this fist fight. What I thought was hilarious. And come to find out that his executive producer eventually went to and became Adam Sandler. So his connect, obviously, to Dan Patrick. Had Dan taken the job, not only you appear in movies, you EP the show The Price is Right. And Drew Carey, I believe, now is pulling down $12.5 million per year. As Tony Montana said to Scarpa, that's some serious money, man. Ooh, I would kicking my own ass, I'm telling you. So, but no, I would have taken the gig, sight seeing, and of course, how much money I would get. But yeah, that would have been me. But there you go. Again, it's been a great excursion for you to be a part of it. Of course, the show was not a show without you being here. Thank you so much. My thanks always to Donovan Price, Pastor Donovan Price, for coming on with me every Friday. And of course, George Elcock III, with political knowledge and more, joins me every second and fourth Friday of the month. Also here on this program, obviously. And also you out there for being part of it, for calling in. Had a new caller, Dave, call in today. So I hope he's not a plant, but time will tell. Dave, I hope you're not a plant. I hope you're not. It's like a genuine guy. Came in and talked about trains and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully get a chance to talk to Dave. As you said, he'll call in next week. So we'll go from there. And always, all of you in the Peanut Gallery, love you more than damn thing we could do about it. And it's just that simple. So again, thank you for your time, for being here. BaseLine, we do this every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, of course, shout out to my man Real Wise for being on. I don't know if he cut me off or not because I went overtime, for being on his Real Wise Radio, online radio station. So thank you so much for that as well. And again, shout out to, of course, going back to Pastor Price. He won the DCLA Award, which is Directors Community Leadership Award, by the FBI community, and that's huge. That's huge, and so I'm very proud of the brother. So continue to do great things, and you do great things as well. Always tell you, take time out to tell somebody you love them. We're living in interesting and scary times. Mama said there'll be days like these, but if we hold on to each other and strengthen numbers and get stronger, we can beat this. We can beat it. It just has to be us. Have a fantastic weekend. Continue to be safe. Continue to be sound. Continue to be healthy. And most importantly, above anything else, continue to be loved. Long live the peace. Long live the funk. More power to you. Again, have a fantastic weekend. Tell somebody you love them. And as always, keep your head up.